Discussing marketing strategies. Our marketing strategies have been effective so far, but I believe it's time for a change. What are your opinions on trying something new?
I'm open to exploring new strategies, but we need to be careful not to disrupt our current success. What ideas do you have in mind?
I was thinking about leveraging social media influencers to reach a wider audience. What are your thoughts on influencer marketing?
Influencer marketing could be beneficial. How would we identify the right influencers and measure the ROI?
Project timeline discussion. Our project timeline is quite tight, and I want to ensure we can meet the deadline without compromising quality. What do you think?
I share your concerns. It might be helpful to involve additional resources. What's your opinion on that?
I agree. We should consider allocating more resources, but we need to balance it with cost control. How can we strike that balance effectively?
We might explore outsourcing some non-core tasks to keep costs in check. How do you feel about that approach?
Product development meeting. Our next product development phase is crucial, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on the proposed features.
I've reviewed the proposed features, and they seem solid. However, I wonder if we're missing any innovative elements. What's your take on innovation in this project?
Innovation is essential. To encourage creative thinking, we can organize brainstorming sessions with the development team. How do you envision fostering innovation?
Brainstorming sessions sound promising. We should also consider involving end users for their input. How can we gather user feedback effectively?
Market research meeting. We're planning to enter a new market, and I'd like to gather insights from your expertise. What factors should we consider when assessing market viability?
Entering a new market is a significant step. We should examine market size, competition, and regulatory requirements. Have we conducted preliminary research on these aspects?
We've started, but I believe your experience could uncover additional insights. What methods do you recommend for in-depth market analysis?
In-depth analysis should involve surveys, interviews, and competitor benchmarking. We should also assess potential risks. Are there specific questions you'd like to ask in the surveys?
Employee engagement discussion. Improving employee engagement is a top priority for us. What strategies have you seen work effectively in previous organizations?
Employee engagement often begins with clear communication and recognition. Have we considered implementing regular town hall meetings or an employee recognition program?
Those are good suggestions. What steps would you recommend for effective implementation, and how can we measure their impact?
Implementation involves setting clear objectives, involving employees in planning, and using surveys to measure engagement levels. We can also track metrics like turnover and productivity. What specific metrics do you think we should focus on?
Sales strategy meeting. Our sales figures have plateaued, and I think it's time to rethink our sales strategy. What are your thoughts?
I've noticed the plateau as well. I believe we should diversify our sales channels. How do you feel about exploring e-commerce options?
E-commerce is a logical step. How can we integrate it effectively with our existing sales channels, and do you think it'll require additional training for our sales team?
Integrating e-commerce would indeed require some changes in processes and training. Let's discuss the steps needed for a smooth transition.
Team collaboration improvement. Collaboration between our teams could be more efficient. Do you have any ideas on how we can improve it?
Improving collaboration often starts with communication. Have we considered implementing team collaboration software or platforms?
Using collaboration software is an option. How can we ensure its adoption among team members, and do you think it's necessary to provide training?
Training and clear guidelines for software use are essential. Let's brainstorm ways to make the transition seamless for the teams.
Product launch strategy. Our upcoming product launch is critical, and I'd like to hear your opinions on the launch strategy.
I've reviewed the strategy, and I believe a comprehensive pre-launch marketing campaign would be beneficial. What are your thoughts on creating anticipation before the launch?
A pre-launch campaign makes sense. How can we create anticipation effectively, and what channels should we focus on?
We can utilize social media, email marketing, and teaser videos. Let's discuss the specifics of the campaign strategy and allocation of resources.
Market expansion discussion. We're considering expanding into a new geographic market, and I'd like to hear your insights. What due diligence steps should we take?
Expanding into a new market requires a thorough understanding of local customs and regulations. Have we conducted a risk assessment, and what questions should we address during it?
Risk assessment is a critical step. We've started, but I'd appreciate your input on key risk factors and how we can mitigate them.
Risk factors can include political stability, currency fluctuations, and local competition. Let's collaborate on a comprehensive risk mitigation plan.
Customer feedback analysis. We've gathered a significant amount of customer feedback, and I'd like your guidance on how to extract actionable insights.
Customer feedback analysis involves categorizing feedback and identifying recurring themes. Have we structured the feedback data, and what specific questions should we answer through analysis?
We've categorized the feedback, but I'd like to know your perspective on identifying trends and patterns in customer sentiment.
To identify trends, we can use sentiment analysis tools and conduct deep dives into specific areas of concern. Let's plan how to approach this analysis effectively.
New product development meeting. We're brainstorming ideas for a new product line, and I'd like to hear your input. What do you think are the emerging trends in our industry?
Emerging trends include sustainability and customization. How can we incorporate these trends into our new product line?
Sustainability and customization are key considerations. What features or attributes do you believe would resonate most with our target audience?
For sustainability, eco-friendly materials and a reduced carbon footprint would appeal. Customization could involve user-configurable options. Let's explore these further.
Project resource allocation discussion. We have multiple projects in the pipeline, and I'd like to get your insights on how we should allocate our resources effectively.
Resource allocation depends on project priority and critical path analysis. Which projects do you see as top priorities?
Our flagship project and a high-impact client project are top priorities. How can we ensure these projects receive the necessary resources without overburdening our teams?
We can consider resource leveling and temporary reassignment of team members. Let's discuss a resource allocation plan for these critical projects.
Customer Service Enhancement Strategy. Our customer service department needs improvement. How can we enhance our customer support processes?
Improving customer support often involves streamlining processes and training. Have we assessed our current support workflows, and what questions should we ask?
Our flagship project and a high-impact client project are top priorities.
We can consider resource leveling and temporary reassignment of team members. Let's discuss a resource allocation plan for these critical projects.
Market Entry Strategy Discussion. We're considering entering a new international market, and I'd appreciate your guidance. What market entry strategies do you recommend?
Market entry strategies can include exporting, joint ventures, or wholly owned subsidiaries. Which markets are we considering, and what questions should we answer before deciding?
We're looking at the European market. I'd like your input on potential partners and how we can evaluate their suitability.
Partner evaluation involves due diligence on their reputation and capabilities. Let's outline the criteria and questions for partner selection.
Employee training and development. Investing in employee training is crucial. What are your opinions on our current training programs?
Training programs should align with our strategic goals and employee career paths. How do our current programs fare in these aspects?
We've been using a mix of internal and external training. How can we measure the effectiveness of these programs and make data-driven improvements?
Effectiveness can be measured through post-training evaluations and tracking employee skill development. Let's design a comprehensive training assessment plan.